In the last lecture, you learned that we use key signatures to reduce the need for accidentals. When a piece is in E-flat major, we can use a key signature of B-flat, E-flat, and A-flat, so that whenever a note falls on the B, E, or A lines or spaces, we will automatically flat it. The slow way of figuring out key signatures is to figure out the major scale using the interval pattern of 2 whole steps, half step, 3 whole steps, half step. So D major would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to figure out the key signature a faster way. Remember to memorize the order of the sharps and flats. Just recite it to yourself enough times that you know it cold. F, C, G, D, A, E, B for sharps, and B, E, A, D, G, C, F for flats. You must know this when figuring out key signatures quickly. If I ask you to write the key signature for B major, not B flat major by the way, you can do it the slow way by figuring out the notes of the scale using whole steps and half steps, then counting up the sharps. The notes are B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp, so there are 5 sharps, F, C, G, D, and A when we put them in key signature order. But there's a shortcut, a version of which many musicians use. The last note of the scale, T, or the half step below the tonic, is always the last sharp in the key signature. For B major, that note is A sharp. If you know the order of sharps, you just zip through them until you get to that sharp, F, C, G, D, A. Then you put them in the correct order on the staff, and then you have the key signature. Here's another one, A major. A half step below A is G sharp. Using the previous letter name, of course, we can't call it A flat. So F, C, and G are the sharps. Here they are on the grand staff. Remember, you must put the key signature on both staves when you have a grand staff. It's very important that you always think sharps and flats when looking at a sharped or flatted note. Students sometimes get sloppy and think A major when they are looking for A flat major, or F major when they are looking for F sharp major. They are very different keys. What is the key signature of D major? The last note of the D major scale is C sharp, so the sharps are F and C. What is the key signature of F sharp major? A half step below F sharp is either F, which we can't use, or respelled, it's E sharp. So the sharps are F, C, G, D, A, and E. Why can't we call the note F? Because we can only use every letter only once in a diatonic scale. No diatonic scale will have an F and an F sharp in it. When we do minor scales, we will occasionally need to use double sharps for the same reason. Figuring out the major scale from the key signature is the same process, only backwards. What is the major key with 4 sharps? The sharps are F, C, G, and D sharp. The last sharp, D sharp, is the last note of the scale, a half step below the tonic, which will be E. So E major. You do one now. What major key is this? The sharps are F, C, G, D, A, E, and B sharp. B sharp is the same as C natural, but we can't call it that because then we wouldn't have any B's in our scale. So B sharp is a half step below C sharp, which is the tonic. C sharp major then has 7 sharps. Notice that every note is sharped in C sharp major. That's it for sharps. Remember, the last sharp is a half step below the tonic note, which must have a different letter name. In the next lecture, we'll do flats, which are a little trickier, but still pretty easy. But remember, the fastest way to figure out key signatures is just to know them. 5 sharps, B major. 2 sharps, D major. And so on.